Your brain is not just a thinking machine. It's a drug lab, a memory manipulator, and a built-in lie detector. How do microscopic sparks become your thoughts? How do chemicals dictate your every desire? And how can a single structure detect truth from lies? In the next few minutes, we'll break down 20 blockbuster neuroscience topics, revealing the hidden systems that shape your life. Ready? Let's start with the brain's secret language. Welcome. I'm Dr. Luis. First, we'll decode how neurons communicate, using electricity and chemistry to power your mind. Synaptic transmission. Neurons don't touch. They communicate across synaptic clefts just 20 nanometers wide. When an action potential arrives, vesicles release neurotransmitters into the gap. These molecules bind receptors on the next neuron, converting chemical messages back into electrical impulses. Why it matters. This process underlies learning, memory, muscle movement, and even the sensation of pain. The neuron. A neuron consists of dendrites, input trees, a soma, body, and an axon, output cable. Each neuron can form up to 10,000 synapses, creating networks of staggering complexity, more connections than stars in our galaxy. These networks enable everything from reflexes to abstract thought. Enurecid, excitatory, inhibitory, modulatory, allows fine-tuned control over brain activity. Action potential. An action potential is an electrical wave. Sodium channels open, letting naphthocoprone person rush in, then potassium channels open to let K+ out. This rapid rise and fall in voltage propagates along the axon at up to 120 meters per second, fast enough to coordinate split-second reactions. Your reflex to pull back from a hot stove relies on these lightning-speed signals. Membrane potential. At rest, a neuron holds a polarization around -70 millivolts, maintained by the sodium-potassium pump exchanging 3 naphthocoprone for 2 K+. Small changes in this potential integrate thousands of synaptic inputs, decision points that determine whether the next action potential fires. Together, synapses, neurons, and action potentials form the language of the brain, encoding every thought and action when somnolinism in the grope. Next, let's tour your brain's internal pharmacy, where natural neurotransmitters and external drugs shape mood, cognition, and behavior. Dopamine is produced in the ventral tegmental area, VTA, and substantia nigra. It surges when you anticipate rewards, driving motivation more than pleasure. It also tags prediction errors. Unexpected rewards increase dopamine release, fine-tuning learning. Parkinson's disease arises when dopaminergic neurons die, causing motor deficits. Gamma-aminobutyric acid, GABA, is the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. By opening click-for-ohm channels, GABA hyperpolarizes neurons, preventing overexcitation. This balance between excitatory glutamate and inhibitory GABA is critical to normal collapse. Normal brain function. Example: imbalance can lead to seizures or anxiety disorders. 7. SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, block the serotonin transporter, increasing synaptic serotonin. Over weeks, this upregulates receptor sensitivity and promotes neuroplastic changes, resulting in improved mood for many patients with depression. Caveat: not all individuals respond. Side effects can include nausea, insomnia, or sexual dysfunction. 8. Benzodiazepines. Benzodiazepines bind GABA-A receptor subunits, enhancing GABA's inhibitory effect. They quickly reduce anxiety and induce sedation, but long-term use can lead to tolerance, dependence, and withdrawal, highlighting the risk of hijacking endogenous systems. 9. Effects of cocaine. Cocaine blocks dopamine reuptake transporters, trapping dopamine in the synapse. This causes intense euphoria, but also reinforces addictive behaviors. With repeated use, your brain reduces natural dopamine production, leading to a cycle of craving and withdrawal. Now, let us see the control room. Now let's explore the hypothalamus, pituitary, and HPA axis, the control room that regulates hormones, stress, and homeostasis. 10. Hypothalamus and pituitary gland. The hypothalamus integrates neural and hormonal signals, controlling hunger, thirst, temperature, and circadian rhythms. It sends releasing hormones to the pituitary, which then releases endocrine signals, for example, growth hormone, thyroid-stimulating hormone, across the body. 11. Pineal gland. The pineal gland senses light via the retina suprachiasmatic nucleus pathway and secretes melatonin at night. Melatonin synchronizes sleep-wake cycles, influencing mood, immune function, and even seasonal behaviors. 12. HPA axis. Under threat, the hypothalamus releases CRH, pituitary releases ACTH, adrenal glands secrete cortisol. Elevated cortisol mobilizes energy, but chronic activation damages hippocampal neurons, impairing memory and increasing anxiety. So what about your brain's dark corners? These circuits handle your deepest emotions, and when they malfunction, disorders emerge. 13. Limbic system. The limbic system, hippocampus, amygdala, cingulate cortex, links memory and emotion. It flags experiences as significant, encoding lasting memories of fear or pleasure. 14. Amygdala. The amygdala rapidly processes threats, triggering autonomic responses, heart rate, sweating. Hyperactive amygdala circuits underlie PTSD and phobias. 15. OCD. In obsessive-compulsive disorder, orbitofrontal cortex and caudate nucleus circuits overfire, creating persistent, intrusive thoughts, obsessions, and repetitive behaviors, compulsions, to relieve anxiety. 16. Autism. Autism spectrum disorder involves altered synaptic pruning and connectivity, leading to intense focus, sensory sensitivity, and challenges in social communication. Neurodiversity offers unique strengths in pattern recognition and memory.
So what about movement, balance, and body control? Finally, learn how brain circuits orchestrate movement, balance, and bodily harmony. 17. Basal ganglia. The basal ganglia, caudate, putamen, globus pallidus, filter motor commands, allowing smooth initiation and termination of movement. Dysfunction causes Parkinson's, rigidity, or Huntington's, chorea. 18. Vestibular system. The vestibular apparatus in the inner ear contains fluid-filled semicircular canals. Movement of fluid bends hair cells, sending signals via the vestibular nerve to the brainstem, enabling balance and spatial orientation. 19. Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy results from inflammation of the facial nerve, cranial nerve 7, often linked to viral infections. Symptoms include sudden facial drooping and loss of expression, usually resolving over weeks. 20. Divisions of the nervous system. Your nervous system divides into central, brain and spinal cord, and peripheral, cranial and spinal nerves, branches, together enabling sensation, movement, and reflexes. Let us end with the lie detector and memory machine. We've unlocked synapses, toured the drug factory, inspected the control room, ventured into the brain's dark corners, and mapped movement circuits. Finally, discover how your brain reveals truth and invents memory. Lie detection. Dopamine and prefrontal circuits monitor reward versus risk. When you lie, dopamine signals conflict between honesty and reward, altering neural patterns detectable by brain imaging.